So the Gilas Pilipinas Under 19 youth squad dropped another game, this time against Argentina. But unlike the game against Greece, we really had a fighting chance in this match. We were down 7 after 3 quarters, and we were able to trim the lead to just 4 points with half a minute to go. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way, and so the final score is Argentina 77, Philippines 72. And we could have taken the game if only the run was held or started earlier in the fourth quarter. The Argentinians had a 15 or 16 point lead in the fourth quarter with a few minutes left in the game. And then the Philippines just came out and waxed hot in the fourth quarter thanks to the 3 point shooting of the likes of James Spencer and Dave Ildefonso, just to name a few. And that's why we were able to trim that lead. Also, credit the defense of Kai Soto in the interior and also Carl Tamaya's hustle to be able to overhaul that huge advantage. It could have been another dismal outcome, another dismal ending to the campaign of these young boys, but they really fought hard rather in this match, and that's why the lead was only 5 points. So hats off to a great effort for the squad, of course, for the coaching also of Coach Sandy Arespaguchaga. He was able to make the necessary adjustments, only to come up short, of course, which is, I believe, a bit frustrating for the squad because they were right there and only to give it away or more precisely, only to run out of time to overcome the advantage that their opponents have mounted. However, even though it's just a 5 point advantage by Argentina, they were able to take control of the match for most of the game, if not the entire game from wire to wire. And it's because of their early start. It's because of their discipline on the court, and there are also other factors by which Argentina was able to dominate the Philippines early in the game. That's why when our Gilas youth squad was making a run, they were not rattled because they have a sizable advantage already. And one of the points that allowed Argentina to dominate early in the game and to make it harder for Gilas to catch up and try to steal the match is their extra pass. They were fluid in the offense, although by which they also employ a dribble penetration type of set. But I'm very impressed with their point guard, Reyes. Instead of finding field goals for himself, he always had that anticipation that whenever he drives the lane, somebody will be open. And more often than not, he would find that open teammate, be it underneath or kick it out to one of their shooters like Farabello or De La Fuente. And he had much success doing that. And his style of play infected his other teammates that they always found the open man. And they always get that result by making that extra pass. So I'm not sure how many assists the Argentinians have, but I believe that they had a ton because of this. In contrast, though, the Philippines had some instances by which the ball was stalling between one or two players. Let's say a guy like Abajano or Ildefonso would have the ball at the 3 point area. The other guys are watching and not even moving, not setting screens around the court. So that stalls the ball to one person or the other guy who sets the pick and roll. So it's essentially a two-man game. But there have been moments by which it became an isolation play between one of our guys and one of theirs, and the other four guys are reacting instead of creating opportunities and opening through screens, routes, and just finding an open spot. So that's the big difference between the two styles of offense based on what I've seen in the game that just happened. And of course, it helped Argentina. Argentina was helped by the dismal 3-point shooting of Gilas in the first half. In the second half, it was a quite 180-degree turn, so to speak, as far as shooting from the trifecta for our boys. But in the first half, it was 1 out of 13. So that's a pretty paltry performance. Just imagine if they can convert two more of those attempts. So that's a 6 point swing, giving us a 1 point lead. But I guess they were intimidated by the size of the Argentinians, and they just couldn't find the mark. I guess you could add in the factor of not being used to the court that they played. Uh, Maybe they had a few hours of practice before the game itself, but it takes time to get your feel of the court. I believe all of the professional players and all of those who have invested much in the sport would agree on that. So they had struggle from most especially the 3 point line in the first half, but they were able to turn it around in the second half. But it was too late. The hero for Team Philippines, and that's why Argentina was able to survive with a 5 point advantage. Um, AJ Edu's absence also is very evident, and Kai Soto would hold his ground against the big guys of Argentina, especially Cafaro. But just imagine if you also had an AJ Edu who is protecting the rim and also getting offensive rebounds like Tamayo or even Joffrey Chu. We would have taken more possessions, more opportunities that could have led to more field goals or more scores at that. So that's how huge AJ Edu's loss is. Unfortunately, he won't be able to play in the FIBA Under 19 World Cup anymore because the initial assessment of his injury is an ACL tear with some strain in the MCL. So those are letters that are scary to any athlete or to any basketball player because um, we hope that it won't happen, but it can alter careers, and we've seen a lot of those over the decades. But medical advancements can address this, and we've also seen some success stories of basketball players and athletes surviving an injury as grave as this and coming back, if not better, much like their old self. So we're hoping and praying and wishing that AJ Edu will be back in form and be back with the national squad, not in the under 19 anymore, but more so for the senior team. So that's about it. Team Gila still trying to find their first win in the FIBA Under 19 World Cup, and Argentina is marching along. And next up for Team Gilas would be Russia. So again, it will be a formidable opponent, tall at that, and a very physical squad, just like the seniors Russian squads of the past and of the present, of course. So that's something that our boys would have to look at, would have to prepare, and would have to adjust accordingly if they are to get a win from the pool stage. If they can get their 3 point shooting going, their perimeter shots to fall, everything from the inside would be easier. The lanes would open, Kaya Soto would be able to operate freely, and the likes of Ildefonso, Amsali, and even Abadjan will be able to exploit the lanes inside. So we hope that Gilas will be able to salvage their game against Russia. But for now, it has been two straight losses for our boys. But just like the moniker says, it's para sa bayan, and of course, their puso is always kicking and driving them to fight even more, and then finally register a victory for our nation. So this has been your boy Lance Fernandez reporting to you after this game. I haven't slept, so now I can have some rest and relaxation after spending the wee hours of the morning watching the match. So I always tell you that life is a ball, never give up until the final buzzer. Till next time, thank you. God bless.